Namaskar. I am Dr. Mohan S. Kamble. I did my graduation in mechanical engineering, MTech in machine design, and doctorate in internal combustion engine. Once again, I am here to speak about some apprehension about the E20 or ethanol blending or implementation of ethanol as a fuel in India is concerned. Our Honorable Transport Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, has implemented this particular policy of ethanol blending effectively from 2014, and various parameters were discussed about the saving of the foreign exchange, improvement as far as the pollution is concerned, and also he has stated that there is no significant deterioration or the performance of the vehicle is concerned. But in actual, in the last video I had discussed about how the ethanol blending affects the overall engine performance. Now here I will be discussing about the discharge of a fuel from the petrol pump and then my apprehensions. Fundamentally the discharge is equal to area into velocity, where area is a cross-sectional area of pipe, Q is a volume flow in meter cube per second, and V is the average velocity of a fluid in meter per second. This particular formula indicates the pumped discharge which is installed on a petrol pump is a function of discharge diameter, fluid velocity, and a fluid density. The overall discharge of the pump is given in the formula, that is a volumetric efficiency into N into V upon 60, where the volumetric efficiency of a pump, N is the RPM of a pump, and V is again the displacement velocity or displacement volume per revolution in meter cube per revolution. It is also given is equal to pi dB into cm2, where d is the impeller diameter of a pump, b is the impeller width at outlet, and cm2 is called as the meridional or radial component of absolute velocity at outlet in meter per second. The mass flow rate is fundamental formula is density into the volume, or mass per unit volume is a density. Previously the pump was handling the petrol without blending, having the density of 730 kg per meter cube, 730 to 750 kg per meter cube. Now because of this 20% of blending, its density has increased up to the 775 kg per meter cube. Now because of this higher density, there is a deterioration, there is a effects on the performance of the pump which is installed in the fuel tank or the storage tank is pumping through its pipes and getting it discharged through the discharge pipe at the outlet. Because of this increase in density, there is a increase in the frictional losses. These frictional losses in the pipes resulted into the deviation in the velocity of a flow, or the decrease in the velocity of a flow, though it is by marginally, but straight away it affects on the discharge at outlet. my apprehension whether the all those pumps are calibrated by weight and measures department to handle this particular density or not. If not, there are the full chances that the discharge will be reduced at least by 1%, or it may, in the volume, it may affect up to the 20 ml per liter. As far as the confirmation of these particular things is concerned, all the petrol pumps owner has reported that there is an increase in the electricity bill after blending of this 20% ethanol in a petrol. Pumps are getting hot and getting tripped because of the excessive temperature. Now, these petroleum products, in India there is a one act called as a Petroleum Act 1934 and 2002, where the so many parameters are mentioned in this particular act. Second is Essential Commodity Act 1955. As per both of these act, blending in a fuel is not permitted, or it attracts a crime. It attracts a crime and punishable under the IPC Act of 420. Whether these acts were amended or abolished before implementation of the E20 or ethanol blending in a petrol is concerned, that is my first apprehension. Secondly, whatever the statutes or the acts which is to be implemented or it is to be made, those powers are empowered with the parliament. There is a standard procedure as far as the enactment of any act or the statutes is concerned, that this particular, when it is a policy is to be made, or the Petroleum Act and Essential Commodity Act 1955 is to be amended or changed, there is a standard procedure as per the Constitution of India. In that procedure, a bill has to be introduced. Whether this bill, who has framed, first of all, who has framed this policy? Who has framed this policy of ethanol blending? After framing a policy, whether the bill was introduced in a parliament or not, whether the extensive discussions on the floor of House has been carried out on this blending policy or not. In the normal procedure, when this bill is introduced in the parliament, either it goes to the joint parliamentary committee, or a parliamentary committee is formed which constitutes of some technical experts. The first is that a technical expert committee is to be appointed to carry out the study of the feasibility or need of a blending. Whether this particular study or the appointment of this expert committee was carried out or not, that is my apprehension. Whether the committee has submitted its technical report. After submission of technical report, whether the extensive or exhaustive discussion on the floor of House has been carried out, which is then it is to be passed on the floor of a House at the Lok Sabha and by the Rajya Sabha as well. Whether this particular bill was passed at Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or not, that is my apprehension. Whether this particular bill, after passing through those two houses, whether it has been authenticated by the President of India or not, or the notification has been issued in that capacity with the Gazette of India or not. Now, even after this particular implementation of policy, all the engine manufacturers are to be told that this particular for this particular blending or this particular available fluid, what is the your performance of engine has to be validated from the validation authorities like Automotive Research Association of India, Petroleum Conservation and Research Association, and other designated laboratories which are given the prime importance like the IITs or NITs. Even after carrying out this particular validation of the compatibility of the fuel with the existing engine or the new designed engine, its performance, whether it was validated with this authority or not, is my another apprehension. Now, after the validation, even by these authorities, an extensive field trials needs to be taken. Whatever the experimentation, whatever the testing which is carried out at the laboratory level has to be carried out in the field level. Whether those trials on the field level has been carried out or not, that is my again next apprehension. And after collecting entire this particular data of validation from the institutions like ARAI or Petroleum Conservation and Research Association, even the Indian Oil Corporation has got their own research center, with all those centers which are NABL, National Bureau of Accreditation for Laboratories. Those from the accredited laboratories, whether these particular trials and the extensive reports were taken or not, and what are the results of the field trials. After the field trials, whether the customer's feedback was taken before its implementation or not, is my next apprehension. That this particular apprehension needed to be concentrated, not by government or by any agency, but the vehicle manufacturer as well as the research institutes. Why there is so haste in implementation of this particular policy? Now, total ethanol manufacturing in India so far is about 850 crores liter per year. Total manufacturing capacity of ethanol in India is about 850 crores liter per year. As per the 20% blending, only 238 crore liter is needed for 20% blending. But what about then remaining additional production of ethanol? I feel that this is the main reason why this ethanol blending is continuously increasing. Now, recently the E85 policy has also been announced. Sometimes I feel whether is it the reason for which this ethanol policy is being implemented by our honorable ministers in haste, because about 2300 crores loan has been taken by the various financial institutions, by these ethanol manufacturing companies. Most of the companies belongs to the sugar lobby, and sugar lobby is totally controlled by whom I need not to tell. Now, to compensate this additional production of ethanol, this particular policy of E30, E85, E100 is being implemented forcibly on the citizens of this country without taking any feedback and a validation from the authorities. Now, petroleum products also comes under the purview of explosives. Whether the concurrence of explosive is being taken or not, that is my again apprehension. Any amendment in those Petroleum Act or Essential Commodity Act 1955, if its amendment is to be carried out, it is to be carried out as per in consonance with the Article 368 of the Constitution. But no such standard procedure of implementation or amendment and its implementation has been carried out by Honorable Transport Minister. Transport Minister is deciding the policies of a fuel which is not his purview at all, when the Department of or the Ministry of Petroleum and Gas Ministry is in existence, also the Ministry of Explosives also which is in existence. Whether this particular policy is forcibly implemented by saying that this will save 1.44 lakh crores of rupee foreign exchange and which will be responsible for reduction in pollution. On the contrary, whatever the factories which were installed in the nearby areas, it is reported that there is a tremendous increase in the pollution. So whatever the data which is being given by Honorable Minister about that it will reduce the pollution is not in consonance with the realities. Majority of the sugar factories are governed by the honorable political leaders, where total installed capacity is much more higher than the requirement as per the E20 policy. Now, to compensate or to accommodate that additional production capacity of ethanol, whether this policy is being amended and implemented forcibly on the citizens to safeguard the monetary benefits of those political parties or political leaders who are running the sugar lobby, and now they have converted that their sugar plants for the ethanol manufacturing as well. The phrase comes true here कि निगाहे मुक्तज़िर थी कि कब सुबह होगी, निगाहे मुक्तज़िर थी कि कब सुबह होगी, ये रातें तो और गहरी होती जा रही है. थैंक यू.